What's up, guys? This is TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and man, it has been a while since we made a Raid video. I really haven't been making content for the game anymore, but I still do play quite a bit. It's still a game that I very much enjoy, and I'm still kind of around the community here and there. But finally, something kind of brought me out of semi-retirement here on YouTube, and wanted to make a video on it because this might be able to help some of you newer players. And some of you players who might be trying to come up through the game, who are working on your clan boss teams and trying to get to those two keyed Ultra Nightmare. Maybe even you want to try to one key it. Well, there was a recent fusion in the game, which hopefully you were able to get, because if you were able to get Vault Keeper Wixwell, which I believe was the community choice fusion, they let everybody vote on his skills, then you have quite the champion on your hands who is going to make a clan boss completely obsolete for you on your account. Now, I know some content creators may have said he seemed underwhelming. As usual, don't listen to content creators in most cases. Hopefully you didn't hear and you actually did do the fusion, because this guy is pretty awesome for clan boss. So what we're going to be talking about today, you may have already seen a couple videos on it, is basically this guy does like infinite shield growth. It makes it so the clan boss really can't even do any damage to you at all. This team will be able to max out the turn count on the clan boss. There's points during there where the clan boss is hitting you for like 500,000 damage and it doesn't even scratch your shields. They get pretty insane, as you'll see here from the video. And what we're going to show here is a team that's not even really complete. We only have, I think, one, maybe two champions here that have complete masteries. The gear's not great. It's not anything special. We're going to talk about some of the gear requirements, which aren't much. There is one major requirement, though, that you do have to have in order to get this to work with basically 99.9% consistency, which is Wixell does need to have his A2 booked all the way down to the cooldown. This is the big skill that we're going to be relying on here, where it increases the value of all the shields on all allies, proportional to the number of buffs which have had their duration increase. This is the big key here, and why this team works so well and can work well with multiple champions, is you need a couple of buff extenders. In some cases I've seen this work with just Demitha. I believe Sam Solstice she's shown me a couple of her comps she's run with just using Demitha in it with another buff extender, and seems to be the best and most consistent at getting this to work. But there are a couple other ones you can use. I believe it's I'm trying to think. There's Valerie, which is a rare champion. Hellborn Sprite, which is also another rare champion, can kind of fill in that role. Those don't seem to be as consistent, and they do require a little bit of speed tuning based on cooldowns and things like that. In this team, we're using Demitha, and we are using Godseeker and Neri. She's also got the buff extension on her A2 here. Now, I was actually building her. It's kind of funny. I was building her for a different unkillable team. I was going to make an all-void unkillable team that I found on Deadwood Jedi's site, and I was in the middle of doing that because this is my free-to-play account, where I've had this account for almost 4 years now, and I still have yet to pull multiple man-eaters. I haven't pulled a seeker yet, so unable to really build any kind of unkillable team. So I've been using traditional clan boss teams to basically 2-key Ultra Nightmare every day, and that can be a problem because sometimes on Spirit, with the debuffs that we get, we have to do a 3-key, which really kind of throws us off a little bit. So I like to do 2 keys in Ultra Nightmare and then throw a key in the Nightmare. I don't like to be on the game enough all day to be able to use 4 clan boss keys, because that takes a long time to recharge. So I was finally gonna, kind of take the plunge, build this all void clan boss team I had picked out that was going to be capable of 1-keying all levels. And then this champion Wixwell came out and kind of changed everything, because I was able to pretty easily make this team. Now, this team is going to bring Prince Kymar to the table. I know a lot of people are probably like, oh, I don't have a Kymar, and I don't have a Kymar either on my main account, but I have the same version of this team that uses Renegade instead, and that's basically for the cooldown reset, because we want to have Wixwell's A2 coming back as often as possible. Now, you actually don't need the refresh if you don't have this booked. I was just using it basically to make sure we were getting that cooldown back oftentimes, so Wixell could keep on using that ability. We could actually swap Kymar out now if we really wanted to, but there's really no point since we've already reached the 1-key threshold and we can just auto key it every day. But that's something that would be an idea we could use for later on. But we've got Kymar here. His gear is not amazing. This is my second general use Kymar I have. The first one I have is right here. I use him for arena, but You know, this is my Kymar. He's just got some accuracy on him and some speed. We got Godseeker. We actually did put her in a hex set here to kind of do a little bit more damage. Not that that matters anymore now, though. Now, Wixwell we did put in reflex gear, and again, this is to kind of get the A2 back as often as possible to ensure that consistency. And on my main account, I've got him in all refresh accessories. I don't have as good of refresh accessories on this account, unfortunately, but basically, even if you have like 4-star stuff, as long as it's refreshed, it doesn't matter what the stats are. Just get it on here, so he can get that A2 back as often as possible. Now we all are going to use Laburga here, who's kind of a cool Doom Tower champion that I really do like. She's void, so you don't have to worry about any affinity for any of her damage, but she's basically a pretty good poison champion, has the poison sensitivity, puts the poison out. She's also got an increased defense and increased attack. If you wanted to use her like in a traditional clan boss team, she'd be a good candidate for that as well. And then also whenever she gets attacked, she can increase the duration of her debuffs there on the clan boss. So overall, pretty good champion. And I believe her masteries are finished. I think she's the only other character besides Godseeker who has masteries done. You can see Wixwell doesn't have any, Kymar has none, and then Demitha, actually, I was using her in Faction Wars, which is the only reason I've actually come down this far, but she's actually level 50. We didn't even 6-star her here. And you can see here she is not fully booked at all either. She does require a lot of books, so that's kind of the cool thing about this comp. This comp is very cheap. It's not going to really require a lot of investment, whether it's putting gear on or spending silver or spending the books. The most important, like I said at the beginning, is you really just need to have this A2 fully booked on Wixwell. So that's pretty much a look at the champs. We can go back through here. You can kind of see their gear real quick. Like I said, none of it's very special. I tried to get their speeds pretty close to each other, but this is not a speed tune comp at all. And I'll show you the auto presets that are set up. This is one-click auto. This works on Ultra Nightmare, works on Nightmare, Brutal, and you can basically go through and one-key everything you need. If you're in a clan that's still trying to get Ultra Nightmare unlocked and you got Wixwell, you can build this team or a team similar to it, and basically unlock all the clan bosses for your clan mates. So it's pretty nice. Like I said, the main thing is, oh, I did almost forget, you do need to have 2 shield sets to start off. That's why we have Demitha in the shield set, and then we have Laburga in the shield set. Now you can also use the bolster set for this, but this gives you 2 shields right at the start that he can go ahead and start growing, and also kind of helps mitigate a little bit of that early damage. You really want this to get going in the early turns, so your shield bar is completely full by the time the clan boss starts doing the bigger damage, and that way your team is basically guaranteed to survive to the turn limit. But that's basically the setup there for the champions. Let's go ahead, we'll go over to the clan boss. We'll actually look at the preset auto setup we have for this. You can kind of see how we've got it set up, and then we'll go through the clan boss run, and then we'll wrap it up after that. Alright, so here we have the clan boss presets set up. You can pause this at points if you need to see how we have it running with all the different abilities. But basically we just start off with the shield on Wixwell and then have everybody throw out their buffs on the first turn, and then after that it's all basically going to be extending that shield buff and doing everything we can. I'm going to start off just with the beginning of the run, and then I'll show a little bit later in it before we get to the final bit and how this all turns out. But you can basically see we're increasing that buff duration, we're growing that shield, and you can see the silver shield bars are going to start to get pretty big, and they're going to start covering over almost all of our HP as we get further and further into this run. And that's basically how we're going to be able to survive all of the clan boss's attacks until we get up to the turn limit of 1500. One of the nice things about Demitha too here is, with everything she brings to the table, that block damage is also pretty helpful here for someone like Kymar, who's weak affinity on this run. One of the problems I was having when I tried Valerie at times, whenever it was the Force clan boss, running her at level 50 in her pretty bad gear, like it was kind of tough to get her to survive long enough for the shield to start ticking up high enough to keep her alive in the later turns. So kind of getting that block damage on Kymar here, even though it's not a problem anymore with this team, just kind of prevents that early damage and allows that shield to increase over time, which is pretty cool. But we'll go ahead and fast forward this a little bit so you can kind of see how the damage looks, and then we'll come back to talk about the final score and how we wound up doing here. you can see here that we have reached the end of the turn limit here for the clan boss. We wound up doing 151.42 million in damage, which doesn't really seem like a lot given the amount of turns and time that it took, but we only have to do this once, and now we'll be able to basically auto-complete Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss every single day with a 1-key score. We won't have to worry about 2-keying or 3-keying anymore on this free-to-play account. And obviously, if you want to build this with different champions and better gear, you can, of course, do a lot more damage, although there's really not too much sense in it. You really just want to do this once, just so that you can get the clan boss levels unlocked that you need and be able to just auto key them every single day. So you're saving all of that time each day. You can get your clan boss done in literally 30 seconds. Just log in, click your autocomplete on your keys, and you're all done for the day. It's a huge time saver. It lets you do a lot of other things in the game. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It was pretty fun to finally get on here and make a video for once in a while and kind of mess around with some stuff here, some of these other champions that we have on the account, and just kind of have a little fun with the clan boss. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and I'll try to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, I hope you're having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.